All right, so are you ready to kind of like dive deep into small business marketing?
Always ready to dive deep when it comes to marketing, especially for small businesses.
Okay, so today we're looking at a framework. It's
A framework,
yeah, and it's really about building a system.
a system.
Yeah, like a step-by-step process so you can guide your customers from like who are these people
Yeah.
to I got to tell everybody about them.
That's the dream, right? Turning those strangers into like raving fans.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what's really cool about this framework is that it's not just some like pie in the sky theory. It's based on real stories of small businesses that were,
Hmm.
facing those like common marketing hurdles.
Yeah, like those struggles that we all face when we're trying to get our name out there.
Right. So in our source material today, we've got Shane. He's an engineer who makes this incredible coffee, like seriously good stuff. But he was having trouble getting customers. Then there's David. His invention went viral, like millions of views
Oh,
online.
wow. Millions of views. That's like every marketer's dream.
Right. But the thing is, no sales.
So all that attention, but it didn't translate into actual business.
Nope. Not a single sale. And then we've got Helen. She built this really solid property management business over years. Just steady growth.
Yeah, like the kind of business you think is like set for life.
Exactly. But then, bam, hit with a wave of customer churn, seemingly out of nowhere.
Oof, that's got to be tough. Especially when you think you're doing everything right.
It is. And, it's like they all fell for this marketing promise.
Yeah.
Like just putting yourself out there guarantees success.
Right. Just build a website, post on social media, and the customers will come flocking.
Yeah, that's totally not how it works. But what's fascinating is that these cases all kind of tie into this framework developed by marketing expert Amy Miocevich.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of her. She's got some great insights.
She does. Her approach is called the Very Good Marketing Framework, and it breaks down the customer journey into 5 stages.
5 stages. Okay, I'm intrigued.
Stranger, visitor, lead, customer, and then that ultimate goal of the fame.
Okay, so it's like a roadmap for taking someone from not even knowing you exist to being like your biggest advocate.
Exactly. And she helps you analyze each stage pinpoint where things might be going wrong and then build a system to smoothly guide people towards becoming not just customers, but those loyal fans we're talking about.
I love that idea of a system because it feels like so many small businesses are just kind of like scrambling around.
Right. Trying different things, but not really having that overall structure.
Exactly. It's like they're missing that strategic foundation.
And that's exactly what Amy addresses. Her framework is built on 5 core principles:
5 principles. All right, lay 'em on me.
clarity, commitment, communication, consistency, and constant improvement.
Okay, so it's not just about like flashy tactics or the latest marketing trends. It's about having a solid foundation to build on.
Exactly. And a key part of that foundation is understanding what Amy calls the marketing bottleneck.
The marketing bottleneck. Okay, that sounds kind of scary.
It can be. But think of it like this. It's about finding that one weak spot in your customer journey that's holding you back.
Oh, okay, so like that kink in the hose that's preventing the water from flowing freely.
Exactly. Once you identify that bottleneck,
Yeah,
you can focus your energy on fixing it instead of spreading yourself too thin trying to do everything at once.
okay, that makes a lot of sense. Prioritize and conquer.
Right. So let's dive into Amy's framework and see how it works in practice.
All right, let's do it.
First up, turning strangers into visitors. We've got Shane and David both attracting attention but not seeing the results they wanted.
Right, millions of views, but no sales in David's case. That's a classic example of attention not equaling conversion.
Exactly. So Amy's approach here is targeted. She introduces this really cool exercise called the bullseye.
Bullseye. Okay, that sounds interesting.
It is. It involves brainstorming every possible way to reach your audience.
So like casting a wide net and seeing what you catch.
Kinda, but then it goes deeper. You strategically investigate which channels are the best fit for your specific business.
So it's not just about trying everything. It's about being smart and selective.
Exactly. It's like finding the bullseye for your target audience.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this works. It's like a laser focus instead of a shotgun approach.
Right. And we see this play out with another case study, Ashley. He makes these amazing water cooling systems for computers and stuff.
Oh, cool. So like for serious gamers and tech enthusiasts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But he was struggling to attract customers even though he had a great product.
So just having a website wasn't enough. He needed to find those right places to connect with potential customers.
Exactly. Through the bullseye exercise, Ashley realized that a mining expo was the perfect place to showcase his product.
A mining expo? That seems kind of random.
It does. But think about it. Miners use powerful computers that generate a lot of heat.
Ah, so his target audience was right there, people who actually need his product.
Bingo. It was a much better fit than trying to reach a general audience online.
Okay, that's a great example of how targeted marketing can be so much more effective.
It is. But finding the right channel is just the first step, right? You still need a message that actually resonates with your audience.
Yeah, like what are you actually saying to these people once you've got their attention?
That's where Amy's expertise really shines. She dives deep into crafting a compelling marketing message that addresses both the surface problems your product solves and the deeper, often emotional needs of the customer.
So it's not just about features, it's about benefits and how your product or service makes people feel.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So with Ashley, a surface problem might be, my equipment overheats. But a deeper problem could be, I'm worried about safety risks and costly downtime.
Right, so you're tapping into those deeper concerns like peace of mind and financial security.
Exactly. By addressing those deeper concerns, you connect with your audience on a more meaningful level. It's not just about the product, it's about the positive impact it has on their lives and businesses.
Okay, that makes sense. You're not just selling a product, you're selling a solution.
Exactly. And Amy has this great example about a yogurt company that got this all wrong.
Oh, what happened? Did they like make some crazy claims about their yogurt?
No, it wasn't that. It was more subtle. They focused their marketing on the history and expertise of the company, instead of highlighting how the yogurt would make the customer feel good.
Oh, I see. So like bragging about themselves instead of focusing on the customer's needs.
Yeah, they missed the opportunity to connect with parents who want to feel good about providing a healthy snack for their family.
Okay, yeah, that's a missed opportunity. It's like they forgot who they were actually selling to.
Exactly. It's a subtle shift, but it makes all the difference.
So we've got the right channel and a strong message. What's next? How do we actually get those strangers to become visitors?
Action. Amy provides a really detailed action plan template to break down task deadlines, the tools you'll need, and the specific outcomes you want to achieve.
So it's like a project management plan for your marketing efforts.
Exactly. No more winging it. It's about turning those great ideas into a concrete plan you can actually execute.
I love that. It takes the guesswork out of it.
And with the bullseye approach, remember, you're focusing on one channel at a time.
Hmm.
You measure results, and if it's working, you double down. If not, you move on to the next promising channel.
Okay, so it's a very iterative process.
Exactly. You're constantly learning and refining your approach.
So we've got strangers becoming visitors. Now, how do we turn those visitors into leads? You know those folks who are genuinely interested and willing to give us their contact info?
That's where the website comes in, and Amy has some really surprising insights here.
Okay, I'm all ears. Websites are my thing.
I know, right? So get this, a good website conversion rate, meaning the percentage of visitors who actually take action, like signing up for your email list or requesting a quote, is only between 3% to 5%.
Whoa, that's way lower than I would have thought.
Right. It really highlights how important it is to have a website that truly works for you. Not just looks pretty, but actually converts visitors into leads.
Yeah, you can have the most beautiful website in the world, but if it's not generating leads, it's not doing its job.
Exactly. And Amy has this great example to illustrate this point. Linda, the speech pathologist.
Oh, yeah, I remember her. She was doing great work offline, building relationships and getting her name out there.
Right. But her website just wasn't capturing those leads. Her conversion rate was less than 1%.
Ouch. That's gotta hurt. Imagine all those potential clients slipping through the cracks.
I know, right? It's like having a leaky bucket. You're constantly pouring effort into it,
Yeah.
but it's not holding any water.
So what was going wrong with her website? It's not like speech therapy is an obscure service.
That's the thing. Sometimes it's not about the service itself, but how it's presented online.
Okay, yeah. Presentation is everything online. Gotta make a good first impression.
And that's where Amy's 7 essential S's of a high-performing website come in.
7 S's. Okay, I'm ready to take notes.
So first up is the 6-second impression.
6 seconds. That's not a lot of time.
It's not. You've got a tiny window to grab attention and make it crystal clear what you offer.
So like that elevator pitch, but for your website?
Exactly. Your website needs to instantly convey what problem you solve, what you sell, and how to get it. No jargon, no fluff, just pure clarity.
Got it. First impressions are crucial, online especially.
Absolutely. Okay, what's next?
What's next?
Yeah, on the list of S's for website success.
Oh, right. Next is a clear sitemap. Think of this as the blueprint of your website. It needs to be logical, easy to navigate and reflect what you sell and who you sell it to.
So if my website structure is all over the place, that confusion is going to turn off potential customers.
For sure. If they can't find what they need quickly and easily, they're going to bounce.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
You want to guide people toward taking that desired action. Okay, what's the next S in Amy's website arsenal?
So once you have that clear sitemap, it's time for strong next steps, or what we call calls to action.
You mean those buttons that tell people what to do next, like book a consultation or download the guide?
You got it. Those buttons are your website's way of saying, hey, if you're interested in this, here's what you do next.
It's like giving them a clear path to follow, instead of just leaving them wandering around aimlessly.
Exactly. And you'd be surprised how many websites bury these buttons or use weak language.
Really? Like what kind of weak language?
Like, instead of saying get started today, they'll say something vague like learn more.
Oh, yeah. I see what you mean. It's not very compelling.
Right. You got to make those calls to action prominent and action-oriented.
Makes sense. You want to guide people towards taking that desired action.
Hmm.
Okay, what's the next S in Amy's website arsenal?
Okay, so the next S kind of builds on what we talked about earlier about addressing those deeper customer needs. It's solve problems.
Right. So not just saying that you can solve a problem, but painting a vivid picture of what happens if those problems aren't solved.
Exactly. It's about raising the stakes and making people really feel the pain of inaction.
So for Linda, it's not just saying I can help your child communicate better. It's about showcasing the emotional and social benefits of improved communication.
Right, like how it can boost their confidence, improve their relationships, and help them succeed in school and life.
Exactly.
Ooh.
You want them to connect with the why behind your service, not just the what.
Okay, problems articulated. Now we need to establish credibility, right?
Absolutely. That's where showcase your success comes in.
So this is all about social proof. Those testimonials, case studies, and data that show you've actually helped people.
Exactly. It's like the digital equivalent of word-of-mouth marketing show. Don't just tell.
And speaking of showing style matters too.
Right. Absolutely. Your website's design should reflect your brand and resonate with your target audience.
But it's got to be more than just a pretty face, right?
Right. Style over substance is never a good look. It's got to be functional, too.
Totally. It's all about finding that right balance.
Okay, so we've got the 6-second impression sitemap, next steps, solve problems, showcase your success, and style. What's the last S?
The final S is all about capturing those soft leads.
Soft leads. What are those?
These are visitors who might not be ready to buy now, but could be in the future. Oh, okay. So like planting seeds that will hopefully blossom into customers down the road.
Exactly. And the way you do that is by offering something valuable in exchange for their email address.
Well, like a free ebook, a discount code, or a webinar.
Exactly. It's a way to nurture that relationship over time and stay top of mind so that when they are ready to buy, you're the first one they think of.
Love it. Okay, so we've turned strangers into visitors and visitors into leads. What's next in Amy's framework? Where does sales come in?
That's a great question, and that's where we'll pick up in part 2 of this deep dive. We'll be exploring how to turn those valuable leads into paying customers.
Stay tuned, folks, because that's where things get really interesting. We'll be back soon with part 2.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Amy Miocevich's very good marketing framework.
So we're picking up where we left off with a website that's optimized to attract visitors and convert them into leads. But now what? How do we turn those leads into actual paying customers?
That's the million-dollar question, right? And it's where so many businesses kind of get stuck. Yeah, they think, okay, I've got leads coming in, I'm good. But that's just the beginning of the story.
Exactly. It's like thinking that just because you set a beautiful table, people will automatically show up for dinner. You got to invite them, make them feel welcome, give them a reason to stay.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
So true. And that's where sales comes in, right?
Absolutely. And Amy really emphasizes that sales and marketing shouldn't be treated as like separate things. They need to work together seamlessly as part of that overall system.
There's that word again, system.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sensing a theme here.
Yeah, it's all about having a system, a process in place for everything. And that's where this marketing promise thing comes in.
A marketing promise.
Yeah, it's this idea that's kind of floating around that simply generating leads will automatically equal revenue. Like it's some kind of magic formula.
Yeah, I see what you mean. But as we've seen from the case studies, it's definitely not that simple.
Nope, not at all. And we see that play out really clearly with Simon, the guy who owns that engineering firm.
Right. He stepped back from sales thinking his system was solid, but then his conversion rates totally tanked.
Yeah, it turned out his personal touch was a key part of their sales success. He had a knack for connecting with leads and really understanding their needs. But that process wasn't documented. It wasn't replicable.
So when he wasn't there to personally guide each lead through the sales funnel, everything fell apart.
Exactly. It's a classic example of relying on individual talent without creating a system that anyone can follow.
So it's kind of like baking a cake. You might be able to whip up an amazing cake from scratch, but if you don't write down the recipe, no one else can replicate your success.
Love that analogy. Okay, so how do we avoid that trap? What does a solid system for turning leads into customers actually look like?
Well, Amy breaks it down into 6 fundamentals, and I gotta say, these are pure gold.
6 fundamentals. All right, lay 'em on me.
First up is the effective use of a CRM system.
Okay, CRM, customer relationship management. We all know it's important, but Simon's case shows that just having the software isn't enough. What was the missing ingredient there?
Well, they implemented the CRM too quickly, without really changing their habits or their mindset. The team saw it as an extra burden instead of a tool to make their lives easier.
Ah, so it's like getting a fancy new kitchen gadget, but never taking the time to learn how to use it.
Exactly. It just ends up gathering dust in the back of the cupboard.
So how do we make sure our CRM actually helps us instead of hindering us?
Well, Amy emphasizes the importance of integrating it into your workflow, gradually starting with small changes and building from there.
So like, don't try to do everything at once. Just pick 1 or 2 things to focus on at first.
Exactly. And make sure your team understands why it's important and how it will benefit them. Not just, hey, we're using this new software now. Deal with it.
Yeah, you got to get buy-in from the people who are actually going to be using it.
Absolutely. Okay, so start small, make it relevant, and gradually build up to using the CRM as your single source of truth for all things customer related.
Got it. If it's not in the CRM, it didn't happen.
Exactly. Okay, CRM mastered. What's next on the list?
Next up is speed.
Speed. Like we're talking race cars and rocket ships.
Well, not quite. But in today's fast-paced world, responsiveness is key. You need to show those leads that you value their time and are eager to help.
Because if you're not quick, someone else will be.
Exactly. Simon was actually really good at this. He understood that a quick response could be the difference between winning and losing a customer.
So set up those email autoresponders, have clear internal processes for lead distribution, anything to avoid those dreaded radio silence situations.
Exactly. Okay, third fundamental, educate, don't just sell.
Ooh. I love this one. It's about positioning yourself as a trusted advisor, not just a pushy salesperson.
Right. It's about building relationships, providing value, and really understanding the lead's needs before you try to close a deal.
And this can be tricky, especially for businesses in technical fields, because they tend to get caught up in the jargon and the details.
Yeah, they forget to speak the customer's language.
Exactly. It's about translating your expertise into something the customer can understand and relate to.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So educate, don't
Yeah.
just sell. What's next? Fundamental number 4, follow up on all leads.
Ah, the power of persistence. But it doesn't have to be annoying, right?
Right, it's not about badgering them. It's about nurturing that relationship and staying top of mind.
So like a gentle nudge every now and then just to remind them you're there.
Exactly. Create a system for consistent follow-up. Maybe a series of emails providing valuable information or a friendly phone call to check in.
Okay, so we're educating, following up. What else do we need to nail those conversions?
Number 5 is all about managing expectations.
Manage expectations.
Exactly. Be upfront and honest about communication and delivery timelines. Don't overpromise and underdeliver.
Oh yeah, that's a recipe for disaster. You got to set realistic expectations and then exceed them whenever possible.
Exactly. Transparency builds trust, even if it means pushing back on unreasonable requests.
Okay, makes sense. So honesty is the best policy. What's the final fundamental?
Number 6, create consistency.
Consistency. Okay, that sounds like a tall order, especially for small businesses with limited resources.
It can be challenging,
Yeah.
but it's so important. Amy's point here is that no matter who the customer interacts with on your team, they should have a similar positive experience.
So it's about creating a standardized experience across the board.
Exactly. Simon struggled with this at first. His team members all had their own styles of communication, and it created inconsistency for the customer.
So it was like a different person answering the phone every time they called?
Kind of. It just wasn't a cohesive experience.
Yeah.
And customers pick up on that.
Yeah, it makes you seem disorganized and unprofessional.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Simon created a standardized sales process, documented scripts, email templates, maybe even training sessions to make sure everyone was on the same page.
Okay, so it's about getting everyone rowing in the same direction.
Exactly. And by implementing these 6 fundamentals, Simon's team saw their conversion rate skyrocket.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've attracted strangers, converted them into visitors, and then leads. And now, thanks to our awesome sales system, we have paying customers. But the journey doesn't end there, does it?
Nope, not at all. This is where things get really exciting. It's about turning those customers into fans, those loyal advocates, who not only buy from you repeatedly, but tell everyone they know how amazing you are.
Ah, the power of word-of-mouth marketing. But how do we make that happen? How do we cultivate that kind of loyalty?
That's where the 70-30 rule comes in.
The 70-30 rule. Refresh my memory on that one.
Okay, so it's this idea that businesses should focus 70% of their effort on retaining and engaging existing customers and only 30% on acquiring new ones.
So it's like flipping the script on traditional marketing. Instead of constantly chasing after new customers, you're prioritizing the ones you already have.
Exactly. It might seem counterintuitive, but it's actually way more cost-effective and efficient to keep a happy customer than to find a new one.
Yeah, think about all the time and money you spend on marketing and advertising to attract new customers.
Right, and when you have loyal customers, they're more likely to spend more money with you over time.
Plus, they become those walking, talking billboards for your business.
Exactly. They're your best marketers.
Okay, so the 70-30 rule makes sense in theory, but how does it play out in real life?
Well, we see this with Helen, the property manager, remember. She was providing a great service, but still losing customers to competitors who offered lower prices.
Right. It's that age-old dilemma, value versus price.
Exactly. And to really compete on value, she needed a better way to measure customer loyalty and identify areas for improvement.
Which is where the Net Promoter Score, or NPS, comes in.
Ooh, yes, the NPS. I've heard of this, but always get it a little bit mixed up. Remind me how it works.
It's super simple. It's a one-question survey. On a scale of 0 to 10, how likely are you to recommend this company to a friend or colleague?
Ah, okay, so straight to the point. No long, complicated surveys.
Nope. Just one question that gets to the heart of customer loyalty.
And based on their responses, customers are categorized into 3 groups, right? Promoters, passives, and detractors.
You got it.
So promoters are your raving fans, those people who are practically begging to tell their friends about how amazing you are.
Exactly.
Right.
They're the ones who drive growth through repeat business and those valuable referrals.
Then you've got the passives who are satisfied, but not necessarily over the moon.
They're like, yeah, your product's okay, but they could easily be swayed by a competitor.
And then unfortunately, there are the detractors, those unhappy customers who might even be spreading negative word of mouth.
Right. They're the ones you need to win back, or in some cases might be better off parting ways with.
So Helen sent out her NPS survey, and it was a bit of a reality check.
Oh, no. What happened?
She had way more detractors than promoters, and only a small percentage were those raving fans she thought she had.
So even though she thought she was providing excellent service, her customers weren't feeling it.
Exactly.
Huh.
It highlighted that even if you think you're doing a great job, you need that direct feedback from your customers.
Because perception isn't always reality.
Exactly. It was a wake-up call for Helen to shift her focus to creating more promoters and reducing those detractors.
Okay, so we know we need to create more promoters. But how do we actually do that? How do we turn those satisfied customers into raving fans?
Well, Amy has the 2-step approach, setting the bar and then raising the bar.
Okay, I like where this is going. So setting the bar, what does that entail?
It's all about delivering a consistent and reliable experience every time a customer interacts with your business.
So no matter who they talk to or when they interact with your company, it's a positive experience. No more inconsistency, no more unpleasant surprises.
Exactly. Consistency builds trust and loyalty, and that's the foundation for turning those customers into fans.
Okay, so how do we create that consistency? Is there like a magic formula?
Well, it starts with defining what good looks like for your business.
So like, what are your non-negotiables? What does excellent customer service look like for you?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And documenting those processes is key here. It's like we talked about with sales. Create a system that's replicable and scalable.
So it's not just about one person doing a great job. It's about creating a culture of customer service excellence throughout the entire organization.
Exactly. Okay, so we've set the bar. Now, how do we raise the bar to create those truly raving fans who can't wait to tell everyone about their experience?
This is where we get to have some fun. One of my favorite strategies is surprise and delight.
Ooh, I love surprises. What does this look like in practice?
It's all about those unexpected, thoughtful gestures that go above and beyond. It doesn't have to be expensive or elaborate.
So, like, what kind of gestures are we talking about?
It could be a handwritten thank you note, a small gift related to their interests, or a personalized follow-up that shows you really listened to their needs.
Like the barista at your favorite coffee shop remembering your usual order or offering you a free pastry to try.
Exactly. It's those little touches that make people feel seen and appreciated.
Amy also mentions this rug company that sends customers a photo of their rug being made, along with a handwritten note thanking them for supporting local artisans.
Oh, that's so cool. It personalizes the experience and creates an emotional connection, not just a transactional one.
Okay, I'm sold on surprise and delight. What are some other ways to raise the bar?
Well, Amy also talks about the power of marginal gains. It's the idea that small, incremental improvements can add up to a big impact over time.
So instead of trying to overhaul your entire business, focus on making those small but consistent tweaks to your processes.
Exactly. For example, Helen might analyze her response times to maintenance requests. Could she shave off a few minutes? Streamline the communication process?
It's all about finding those areas where you can do just a little bit better.
Exactly. And over time, those small gains build momentum, leading to a significant competitive advantage.
Okay, so we're delivering consistent service, surprising and delighting our customers, and constantly looking for ways to improve. Anything else we need to keep in mind when turning customers into fans?
Yes. Amy also talks about the importance of customer service excellence, and it ties into everything we've been discussing.
Okay, so remind me, what are those 2 key steps to customer service excellence?
First, define what good customer service looks like for your business.
Just like we talked about with setting the bar.
Exactly. And once you're consistently achieving the good level, it's time to brainstorm what great would look like.
So it's a continuous journey of improvement, always striving to exceed expectations.
Exactly. And finally, to truly cultivate those raving fans, adopt a customer-centric mindset.
Okay, we've talked about this a bit, but I want to make sure I really understand it. What does that actually look like in practice?
It's about making a conscious shift from a purely transactional approach to one that's focused on building genuine, long-term relationships.
So seeing customers as individuals with unique needs and building those relationships, not just closing deals and moving on.
You got it. It's about creating a culture of customer appreciation throughout your entire organization.
Because when you truly value your customers, they feel it. And that loyalty translates into repeat business and those valuable referrals.
Absolutely. So by embracing these principles, you set the stage for turning customers into fans, which leads us to the final and arguably most exciting stage of the customer journey, turning fans into jam.
Okay, we've talked about jam before, but I'm still intrigued.
Yeah.
Remind me, what does jam represent in Amy's framework?
Jam is that sweet, delicious reward for all your hard work. It's about leveraging the power of your fans to generate even more business.
Through repurchases, reviews, and referrals, right?
You got it. It's that beautiful self-sustaining cycle where happy customers become your best marketers.
And it all starts with the right mindset, right?
Exactly. So first, you have to really buy into the 70-30 rule, even if you haven't seen the results yet.
Okay, so trust the process.
Yeah.
Believe that focusing on existing customers is the key to long-term sustainable growth.
Exactly. And you need to appreciate the difference between a customer and a fan. A customer might make a one-time purchase, but a fan is invested in your brand.
They're like your groupies.
Exactly. They come back for more, they tell their friends, they become advocates for your business.
It's like the difference between someone who casually listens to your music and a die-hard fan who buys all your merch, goes to all your concerts, and tells everyone they know how awesome you are.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to treat every single fan like gold.
Give them the VIP treatment.
Absolutely. Show them how much you appreciate their business by making them feel special.
So personalized communication exclusive offers exceptional service. That kind of thing.
Exactly. It's those little things that make a big difference. And Amy uses a great example to illustrate this point, her own experience as a loyal customer at her favorite coffee shop.
Oh, yeah. The one where they always remember her order, offer her a free drink if she forgets her wallet, and even bring her a slice of cake to try sometimes.
Exactly. It's those gestures of kindness and generosity that create those feel-good moments and keep customers coming back for more.
Okay, so we're treating our fans like royalty. Now, how do we actually encourage them to spread the love through those repurchases, reviews, and referrals? It's a little awkward to just come right out and ask, isn't it?
It can be, but Amy suggests connecting with fans on a personal level and offering value in exchange for their support.
So it's not just about taking it, it's about giving back and building that mutually beneficial relationship.
Exactly. For example, Shane started sending personalized emails to his loyal coffee shop customers, sharing updates about his business, offering exclusive discounts, and even asking for their feedback on new blends.
He created a dialogue, not just a marketing blast.
Exactly. That personal touch makes people feel like they're part of something special.
Okay, I love that. So we've talked about connecting with fans. Now let's dive into the specifics of those 3 jam R's: repurchases, reviews, and referrals. What are some practical strategies to encourage each of these?
Let's start with repurchases.
Yeah.
One really effective strategy is to implement a rewards system.
Oh yeah, like those loyalty programs we see everywhere. I gotta admit, I'm a sucker for those points and freebies.
They can be incredibly effective. They gamify the experience and create incentives for repeat business.
It's like, hey, if I buy 10 coffees, I get one free.
Yeah.
It's simple, but it works.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be complicated. It could be something as simple as a punch card or as elaborate as a tiered point system with exclusive perks.
It's about finding a system that aligns with your business and resonates with your customers.
Exactly. Remember Shane, the coffee roaster? He implemented a subscription model for his at-home coffee drinkers.
Right, so they receive their favorite beans regularly without having to remember to reorder. It made life easier for the customer and created a predictable revenue stream for Shane.
Exactly. Subscription models are a win-win. Customers get convenience and businesses get recurring revenue.
Okay, repurchases check. What about those all-important reviews?
Reviews are social proof gold. They can make or break a business these days.
Because potential customers trust the opinions of their peers more than any marketing message.
Exactly. And the best way to get those reviews is to simply ask.
But timing is everything, right? You don't want to ask too early before they've had a chance to really experience your product or service.
You're right. The ideal time is after they've had a positive interaction, like making a purchase, receiving excellent customer service, or completing a project.
So strike while the iron is hot when they're feeling good about their experience.
Exactly. Send a personalized email thanking them for their business and let them know how much you value their feedback.
And make it super easy for them to leave a review, right?
Absolutely. Include direct links to the review platforms you care about most, Google, Yelp, Facebook, wherever your target audience hangs out.
Remove all that friction, all those extra steps that might discourage someone from leaving a review.
Exactly. And remember, reviews aren't just for those online platforms. You can showcase testimonials on your website, in your marketing materials, even in your physical store if you have one.
Yeah, don't be shy about sharing the love. Okay, reviews covered. Now let's talk about the crown jewel referrals.
Ah, yes, referrals. They're like those golden tickets bringing in pre-qualified leads who are already warm to your brand.
Because they come from a trusted source, a friend, a family member, a colleague. People are far more likely to try something if it's recommended by someone they know.
Exactly. Remember the Dropbox example? They fueled their early growth with a brilliant referral program.
Oh yeah, they offered existing users free storage space for every friend who signed up.
Exactly. It was a classic win-win-win. The existing user got more storage, the new user got a great product, and Dropbox got a new customer at a very low cost.
Genius. Okay, I'm ready to build my own referral engine. What are your top tips?
Well, the key is to offer a reward that's actually meaningful to your customers.
So it's not about offering some generic reward. It's about understanding what your customers value.
Exactly. For Shane's coffee business, it might be a discount on beans. For Helen, the property manager, it could be a free month of property management services.
Tailor the reward to your audience. Makes sense. And just like with the reviews, make the referral process as frictionless as possible.
You got it. Provide clear instructions, pre-written messages they can easily share, and maybe even a tracking system so they can see the status of their referrals.
It's all about making it super easy for them to spread the love.
Exactly. By implementing these strategies, you can tap into the power of your fans to generate a steady stream of new business. It's like a marketing superpower.
I love it. So we've covered a lot of ground today, from attracting strangers to converting them into visitors and then leads. And now we have a system for turning those customers into loyal fans and leveraging those fans to grow our business.
And we've just scratched the surface. There's always more to learn and explore when it comes to marketing.
That's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah.
It's an ever-evolving field. But before we wrap up part 2, I want to circle back to something we mentioned earlier, the importance of data analysis.
Yes, data is your friend. It helps you make informed decisions and track your progress.
It's not enough to just implement these tactics. You need to measure your results and adjust your approach as you go.
Exactly. It's all about continuous improvement.
So what are some key metrics that businesses should be tracking?
Well, it depends on your specific goals, but some important ones include website traffic conversion rates, customer acquisition, customer lifetime value, and of course, your net promoter score.
It sounds like a lot to keep track of.
It can be, but there are tools and software that can help you automate a lot of this tracking.
That's good to know because I'm already feeling a little overwhelmed just thinking about it.
Don't worry. It gets easier with practice, and the insights you gain from analyzing your data are invaluable.
Okay, so data analysis is key. It helps us see what's working, what's not, and make those strategic decisions that move the needle.
Exactly.
Okay, so that wraps up part 2 of our deep dive into Amy Miocevich's very good marketing framework.
We've covered a lot of ground from understanding the customer journey to specific tactics for turning fans into jam.
But our journey isn't over yet.
Join us for part 3, where we'll wrap up our discussion with some final thoughts and key takeaways you can apply to your own business. We'll be back soon. All right, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into Amy Miocevich's very good marketing framework.
It's been quite a journey, right? Exploring all the ins and outs of building a thriving business.
Yeah, we've gone from attracting those initial strangers all the way to cultivating loyal fans and turning them into that sweet, sweet jam.
Repurchases, reviews, referrals, that beautiful cycle of customer love.
Exactly. It's been a whirlwind of actionable strategies, and I gotta say, Amy's case studies are so relatable.
They really bring the concepts to life, right? You can see how these strategies play out in the real world.
Yeah, totally. So now it's time to kind of like step back and look at the big picture. What are the key takeaways? What's the essence of Amy's framework?
Well, if I had to sum it up in one sentence, I'd say it's about moving away from those random acts of marketing and embracing a systematic approach.
Instead of just like throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Exactly. It's about building a solid foundation, a
Yeah.
system that guides customers seamlessly through each stage of their journey.
From stranger to fan, that ultimate goal.
Right, and that system starts with understanding your unique customer journey.
Identifying those leaky points, those bottlenecks where you're losing potential revenue.
Right. And once you know where those weak spots are, you can focus your energy and resources on plugging those leaks.
Working smarter, not harder.
Exactly. And let's not forget the importance of data.
Oh yeah, data's our friend. It helps us take the guesswork out of marketing.
Absolutely. By tracking the right metrics, you can see what's working, what's not, and make those data-driven decisions.
So it's not just about intuition or gut feeling. It's about using data to inform your strategy.
Precisely. And beyond those tactical aspects, Amy's framework also emphasizes something equally important: mindset.
Ooh, yeah, the power of mindset. We
Mhm.
talked about it a bit throughout this deep dive, but it's worth reiterating.
Absolutely. It's about shifting from a purely transactional approach to one that's focused on building genuine long-term relationships.
Seeing customers as individuals, not just dollar signs.
Right. Understanding their needs, providing value every step of the way.
And ultimately turning them into those loyal fans who not only buy from you repeatedly, but also become advocates for your business.
Exactly. They become part of your community.
And that's where the 70-30 rule comes in, right? Focusing the majority of your effort on nurturing those existing relationships.
Right. It might seem counterintuitive to some, but it's the key to long-term sustainable growth.
Okay. I know some of our listeners might be feeling a little overwhelmed at this point. Like, okay, great information, but where do I even start? Any advice for those feeling a little lost?
Absolutely. The key is to start small. Don't try to do everything at once.
Pick one thing, one small action step you can take today.
Exactly. Maybe it's optimizing your website for conversions?
Or implementing a simple rewards program.
Or just sending a handwritten thank you note to a loyal customer.
It's those small, consistent actions applied over time that make a real difference
They create that ripple effect that builds momentum.
and lead to those big results we all dream of.
Exactly. And remember, you don't have to do this alone. There are so many resources available to small business owners.
Yeah, books, podcasts, online communities, marketing consultants. Don't be afraid to reach out for help.
Exactly. Learning from others is one of the best ways to grow.
So true. Okay, before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought-provoking question.
Ooh, I like this. Hit me
Oh.
with it.
Okay, so thinking back to Amy's concept of surprise and delight, what's one small act of kindness or generosity you can implement in your business today?
What can you do to make your customers feel truly valued and appreciated?
It could be something as simple as offering a free upgrade,
Or sending a personalized note.
or just taking the time to really listen to their concerns.
Those human touches, those little acts of kindness, they go a long way in building loyalty and creating those memorable experiences that keep customers coming back for more.
So true. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into Amy Miocevich's very good marketing framework. I hope you enjoyed the journey as much as we did.
It's been a pleasure exploring this framework with you.
Remember, building a successful business is an ongoing process. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
So embrace the journey, experiment, learn from your mistakes, and most importantly, focus on providing value to your customers.
Because at the end of the day, business is about building relationships.
It's about creating those win-win situations where everyone benefits.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. We'll see you next time for another deep dive into a topic that matters.